Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Not only is it a new day, it's a new decade. I'm Matt from Unlimited, and this is the Unlimited Podcast. What's up, Walter? How are you?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a while.
It has.
I got to get back into the swing of things. This is just...
Yeah.
This is weird. Just feels weird to be back, but it feels good to be back. And we're going to start it off with doing a little bit something different since we just wrapped up the 2010s. And we figured, let's start off with a bang in 2020 by reliving the 2010s and going through some best of the decade and worst of the decade awards for both the WWE and non-WWE companies in professional wrestling. This is going to be a fun video, but before we get started, as always, if you like this video, leave a like. If you don't, leave a dislike. If you have opinions, then please comment. If you want other people knowing about us, then share. If you want more content, then subscribe. Also, plug your show, damn it.
If you're into things geeky, nerdy, movies, learning about things, or maybe just hearing people ramble on about nothing, listen to Capacity to Geek, available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, you'll find Capacity to Geek.
Sounds good. Alrighty, let's kick it off. You want to start with like the non-WWE stuff first, so you can go through it?
Sure.
All right, so
throw them at me.
I laid out a couple of different awards, both best and worst. Male wrestler, female wrestler, match, pay-per-view, for WWE, NXT TakeOver. Storyline, debut, and tag team. So let's kick it off with some non-WWE stuff. I told Walter and I promised that I'm not going to get involved because I don't really watch stuff outside of WWE that much. So it would be unfair for me to critique. Like, I know I watched TNA a while back, but honestly, I forgot so much stuff that they've done that, it just wouldn't be fair. So we're going to kick off and have ourselves a tag team match. And we're going to go with the best non-WWE tag team. Walter.
I don't think there's much of a competition here. It's got to be the Young Bucks.
Okay.
They've done so much over the past decade. Like, they've done more in just the past, 4 or 5 years than most tag teams have done in entire careers.
Both in the ring and out of the ring.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Solid choice. Yeah, it's funny because I remember watching them back in TNA, and, I actually liked them. I mean, eventually I got kind of tired of them, but I can understand why people like them. Their matches are usually off the charts good, so there you go. Best debut.
That's tough. Actually, no, it's not. Jon Moxley in AEW.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. You want to do worst too, or do you want to just do that? Because there wasn't. I know, like AEW and like NJPW, there wasn't really a lot of bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll stick with best for now. So best debut, Jon Moxley. Let's go with the best storyline.
I'd say it's a toss-up.
Okay.
Between Okada versus Tanahashi and Okada versus Omega.
Okay. There's a theme here.
Because both of those had a very simple story. One was the new up-and-coming guy trying to take down the established ace of the company. And sometimes he'd do it, sometimes he'd fail, but always when it came to Wrestle Kingdom, he would fall. Until the one year he finally beat him at Wrestle Kingdom. And then with Okada and Omega, you had the established top guy, like in his prime, taking on the guy who just kept climbing and climbing and climbing and always came back, and the guy he couldn't put away. The guy who, no matter what he did, he would always come back. Always come back. Because it took so much to put Omega away in their first match. He couldn't in the second match. He lost the third match, and Okada lost the fourth match.
Right.
And another overarching thing especially in the first two matches, was Omega trying to hit that home run, trying to hit the one-winged angel, and throughout the first and I believe the second match, never hitting it. Mm-hmm. Always coming this close. And they put on some of my favorite matches of all time.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. I have not seen like their matches in full, referring to Omega and Okada. I've seen like highlights of them.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make an effort to try and go back and watch all four of them.
Especially watch the fourth one. I know it's putting aside an hour and a half of your time.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it.
That might be something I do, like, when I'm just up randomly at 2 a.m. and I'm like, all right, I'll fall asleep to this. But yeah, good choice. All right, let's go with best match.
Omega Okada 4.
Okay. Fair enough.
Outside of WWE, it's definitely Omega versus Okada 4. I thought it was brilliantly put together. I thought it was brilliantly paced. Just everything was perfect in that match, even down to the commentary, where it just ended with Don Callis screaming, "Hook the leg! Hook the leg! Hook the leg! Hook the leg!"
Oh, man.
And just the perfect story, the perfect two guys, just on rare form. Not only the best match of the decade, it might be my favorite match of all time.
It's a bold statement by Walter Main, ladies and gentlemen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls... Nah, I'll wait for that. Alrighty. So, best match now. Best pay-per-view. Best, like, big event, major event. It could be a Wrestle Kingdom, a Bound for Glory, a Super Card of Honor, like, all that crap.
Geez, that's tough. ROH put on some bangers this decade. Like, not the past couple of years, but they put on some bangers.
We're just going to ignore the past couple of years.
Give me a second. I think I have the right one in mind.
Okay. I know you've been to a pretty solid one with All In.
That was a time. That was really fun.
I went to WrestleMania 29.
I mean, to be fair, any WrestleMania, that's cool to go to.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad one.
And that's why I know off topic, excuse me. It's definitely not one of the best WrestleManias of all time. I wouldn't put it in like one of the worst. It might be bottom 10 or bottom 15, but it's one of my favorite WrestleManias. Like, if I was ranking favorites, it'd be in the top 10, even though it was not a good show. Just right. Because I got to experience it live.
Yeah, of course.
Just taking in, all the spectacle and all the big time stars and matches and the pyro and everything. Just taking in everything. So Walter is still pondering. We had time to prepare for them. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, ROH put on some great ones. I forget which one it was, but the one where Christopher Daniels won the world title.
I think I remember that one. I forgot the name of it, but I forgot. Or I remember it.
I think it was not a Super Card of Honor, but either a Glory by Honor or something like that, where it was Bucks, Briscoes, and the Addiction in Ladder War.
Mm-hmm.
And they killed each other. But I'd have to say Wrestle Kingdom 13 was probably show of the decade, either that or Wrestle Kingdom 12.
That was last year and the year before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, New Japan has just been on fire, and they've been just topping themselves every year with Wrestle Kingdom.
Right. I still have to finish I have not finished night 1. I haven't even started night 2. So
night 1 was great. I know you had some issues with the Ospreay and Takahashi match.
Yes.
But I could tell you still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I just felt like, there were so many moves that could have ended the match. And, once they hit like the first big move, the second big move, everything they do after that, it's like, beating a dead horse. It's like, okay, is this match ever going to end?
But yeah.
I can understand why people liked it, though. It was an enjoyable match. All right. We're down to the 2 big ones. Best female wrestler outside of WWE.
Ooh. That's tough because I feel like I would be doing all of Stardom a disservice because I don't watch Stardom.
Right.
Like, I know people like Meiko Satomura are incredible, but I can't realistically say them because I've never really watched them.
Yeah.
And Progress has a great women's division, but it's mostly been integrated into NXT UK with the girls like Toni Storm and Ginny and all them. I'd say for Impact, even though she hasn't been around for too terribly long, maybe Tessa Blanchard, because she's just been on fire the past few years.
Yeah, I've heard big things about her.
Yeah. I'd love to see her jump ship to WWE, get the match with Charlotte, get matches with Becky, all them, especially Charlotte. That storyline's written.
Yeah. I haven't really seen a lot of her work, so I might look into her. But yeah, I've heard good things, so we'll see. And now, best male wrestler, non-WWE.
Kazuchika Okada.
Okay. I kind of figured it'd be it.
He's transcended the sport of professional wrestling. He is a media icon in Japan. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows him there. Right. He's basically the Hulk Hogan of New Japan right now.
And he's like, I don't mean this in a bad way, and he's booked like one too.
Yeah, and he's carrying the torch for the Olympics.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's one of the torch carriers.
That's amazing. Like it just shows, the wrestling business is not really at its strongest because, ratings wise and attendance wise and stuff like that. But You have a wrestler carrying a torch for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, you must be doing something right. And he clearly is. So there we have it for the non-WWE stuff. If I had to switch to the worst, I would actually add something for worst pay-per-view and for worst match. Beyond question, when I look at non-WWE...
Bound for Glory 2012?
Bound for Glory, you said?
Yeah, which was the one where it had Sting Hogan?
That was 2011, and no, that's actually not it.
Oh.
And the match isn't it either. It's Victory Road 2011, and worst match is Sting Jeff Hardy.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want about Hogan versus Sting. That match had no business being as entertaining as it was.
I don't think I ever watched it.
I watched it. It's not a technical masterpiece. It's not gonna be. But you got that Philly crowd hooked immediately because it's Hogan and it's Sting. It's obviously going to get over. And even though they're old and Hogan has the history of the back problems, and by then Sting was wrestling with a t-shirt on and barely was able to apply his own finishing move, it was an entertaining match. And again, it got the crowd hooked. It got me hooked, even though I'm not a big Hogan fan. It still got me hooked. But what can you really say about Sting Jeff Hardy?
It's sad.
It's sad. So that brings us to the WWE. 10 years of the PG/reaction/ whatever the hell you want to call this era that we're
Reality era.
The reality era.
The authority era.
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, like when we go to the worst categories, the authority is like nowhere even near that. If you could believe it. So let's start off with some debuts. Best debut of the 2010s in WWE.
Oh.
There's one that came to mind for me, but maybe you have a different one.
Are we counting NXT as well?
You can.
I really like the way Adam Cole debuted.
I honestly don't remember how he did.
He attacked Drew McIntyre after he beat Bobby Roode for the title.
Right.
In Brooklyn.
Yep. I remember that now.
That crowd went insane.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually, believe it or not, went with the Shield.
That's
just because, you know, the timing, the match, the competitors involved, and how they came in and immediately went after Cena. They immediately went after Ryback, who was white hot at the time.
Right.
And not only that, but they were just going around and dominating everyone. They won their first match, which was a great match at TLC. And then they went on to defeat, you know, Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus. And then at WrestleMania, going to defeat Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show, winning their first Mania match. They were just unstoppable at that time.
Yeah. Like, I loved the Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid pick.
Mm. Their run between like mid 2013 to the early part of 2014 was kind of mediocre. But
I disagree, especially the tail end of their run.
Okay.
With the matches against the Wyatts, which were incredible. The match.
Early part of 2014, I meant like, you know, pre-Rumble, so like the first couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
like when they had the match with Punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But
like
then
when they were losing, when their first loss was on SmackDown at a time when nobody was watching SmackDown.
So up until they started the feud with the Wyatts.
Yes. I'll go with that.
And then the matches with Evolution.
Especially, I know a lot of people love the second one. I preferred the first one.
Were you there at the first one?
I was not. That was the last WWE pay-per-view, actually the last WWE show at the Izod Center before it closed down. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go because I was still in school, so I wasn't able to get tickets. So I did wind up going to Extreme Rules 2 years later in Newark, but yeah, I couldn't go to that one. But that match was really good, though.
Oh yeah. Especially the spot with Seth jumping off the balcony.
Yeah. Just, they could have done. I think they could have done more with the Shield during that second half of 2013. But the way they debuted and what happened in the months after that was just great.
And I think that first one was the one that gave us the iconic Shield fist bump one where Dean Ambrose is like borderline going unconscious when he's in the middle of them.
Yes. Just give me 1 second. I just have to look at something. Okay. All right. Worst debut.
Oof. Worst debut.
I have one that's a little bit out of left field, but go ahead if you have one.
I'd say something really insignificant, like No Way Jose on Raw.
Yeah. A weird one that came to mind was Sami Zayn, because he debuted and wound up getting injured in the same match.
That match was so good, though.
It was so good, though. The problem is it cost him almost a year of his career.
And then I was there when he came back to Raw.
I remember that.
Like when he, I think he saved Neville or someone from a beatdown by Owens.
I think you're right.
And that place erupted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little bit. I couldn't really think of a worst one because, there were a lot of them that were kind of, the typical run-of-the-mill debut. Like, they come in and just squash a jobber or something like that. I couldn't really think of any bad ones. Yours was a good one because it was just kind of random and meant nothing. I can't really think of any other ones. But that brings us to the tag teams. I think that the best tag team is obvious. Do you?
It's either New Day or Usos.
I'm going to go with the New Day.
You know what? Just for counter, I'll go with the Usos.
Okay.
Especially since 2016.
Yeah, I give you that. Like even like from late 2013 to 2015 when they were on that babyface run, like they were really over at that time.
Oh yeah.
I went with the New Day because they always found ways to entertain, and not to mention it's not often that you build a WWE Championship match around
a tag team
at WrestleMania around a tag team competitor. And that's spun off of being part of the New Day. So I give them the edge because of that.
Yeah. That's solid.
Yeah. Worst tag team? Where do we begin? There's so many teams that were just so randomly thrown together.
Ooh, I know.
Go ahead.
Because they held the title for 3 months, but it felt like an eternity.
Oh no.
David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy.
Christ, I forgot about them.
God, they were so bad.
That's bad. It just spun off the Nexus, and it was just so bad. David Otunga. Who could ever forget Michael McGillicuddy? because when your grandfather is Larry the Axe Hennig and your father is Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, you should be named Michael McGillicuddy. And then Curtis Axel.
I mean, at least they gave like
Axe
definition.
Yeah.
They gave definitions to the name: Curtis for Kurt, Axel for the axe.
Yeah. I actually go ahead.
But why couldn't they just call him Joe Hennig?
Right? I mean, to be fair, like Bray Wyatt, at least they made him into a unique character, so you didn't need to have the family name there.
Right.
But still, yeah. If you were emphasizing that he was a third generation talent, then he should have at least had a name that resembled
hell, call him Mr. Perfect Jr.
Why not? Why not? For my pick, I had the Ascension.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
It's a shame.
They were so good in NXT.
Yeah,
they were incredible in NXT.
And then
they were garbage on the main roster.
They proceeded to come out and get absolutely no reaction. And then people just started to boo them because they were just already tired of them. And they didn't even do anything on the main roster. It was just a big, just awful. Just awful.
I think they were ruined from the moment all the legends beat them up in the middle of the ring when they were supposed to be a monstrous dominant tag team.
Mm-hmm. It's completely ridiculous. You know, even though that they're good workers. They're not the best, but they're good workers.
Yeah.
They could have at least been the start of building up an actual tag team division that felt relevant. Instead, they were the laughingstocks of the WWE. So, best storyline.
Oof. I'd say Punk Cena.
Okay.
I thought that was... Anytime they put those two together, I thought the interactions were great. I thought the mic work from both was great. Like, even better than it usually was from them when they were together.
Right.
Because I think they both really brought out the best in each other.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Like, the feud in 2011, I consider it one of the worst of all time, but you're right about the interactions, the promos. I can't deny that, you know, when they face each other, they bring each other's best. They bring out each other's best.
Yeah.
It just, you know, the 2011 storyline just irks me because of what it led to, but at the same time,
like, confined to when it was just them.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have done it much better.
No, I completely agree. Everything up until Money in the Bank was perfect. Everything after Money in the Bank sucked.
I even thought the build to SummerSlam was good. I just thought it was a bit soon. It's exactly how I would have done it, but later.
Yeah. Like, I would have... I already proposed this, and I know I proposed this several times in the chat. I would have been fine with the tournament that they had. And, you know, Rey Mysterio winning it. And then John Cena comes out and says, hey, I was the champion, I should get my rematch. Boom! There's your SummerSlam main event right there.
And then you have Punk return during that.
Would have worked so much better than what ultimately happened. But I won't deny you that. They did bring out each other's best. Their promo segments were really good. They just, you know, it's just their chemistry. Their overall chemistry was just beautiful. It was great.
Oh, yeah. What's your pick for best?
For personal reasons, I went with Kofi winning the belt at 35.
That's a really good choice.
Just the overall build-up of him going through obstacle after obstacle and Vince McMahon, nobody taking him seriously, and yet the crowd just continues to fire up every time he, comes on screen. Just the overall journey, it kind of in a way brought me back to why I started watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching wrestling right around the time of WrestleMania 20. So I had, was following the journey of Chris Benoit. I know now I don't really follow him because of other reasons. But just the journey of him, everybody doubting him, nobody believing in him, and then he enters the Royal Rumble at number 1 and wins it. Goes on to WrestleMania, completely disregards the championship clause that he has for the SmackDown title to go after the Raw title, something that's never been done before.
Because in storyline he knew Heyman wouldn't let him get anywhere near Lesnar.
Exactly. So he went after the world title, and he had to unfortunately deal with Shawn Michaels as a result. And that turned into one of my favorite WrestleMania matches, one of the best WrestleMania matches, and one of the best WrestleMania moments that unfortunately is kind of forgotten now.
Yeah.
But it brought me back, like when Kofi won that belt, it reminded me of why I watched this.
Oh yeah. And the match itself was incredible.
Yeah. It was. And the pop that he got when he won. You had guys like MVP on Twitter crying in tears because nobody ever thought this would happen. I don't even think Kofi thought it would happen.
Right.
But yeah, I got to go with that. Worst storyline. Oh God.
Jeez. Let's get a book.
I was gonna say, where do you want to begin?
Jesus. If you want to go recent, Rusev, Lashley, and Lana.
The reason I'm not putting them up is because the storyline is still going.
Okay, fair. Anything involving Shane McMahon over the past year?
Oof. Bad.
Let's keep going.
I mean, I can argue, like, I know it's still going back to 2018, the whole Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan teasing and teasing and teasing to ultimately not even have a match against each other.
Right.
Bad.
Wyatt versus Balor.
Oh, Christ. Oh, my God. I mean, if you go back early in the 2010s, obviously the Nexus.
After SummerSlam and after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
I could even go with John Laurinaitis as general manager because that led me to stop watching wrestling.
The Orton Wyatt feud.
Oh God, where they freaking had I forgot the name of it, the House of Horrors or something like that.
Yeah.
And the belt wasn't even on the line.
Right.
Oh my God. I went with an interesting one.
I'm still trying to think.
All right, I'll give mine then. WrestleMania 27, Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, that would probably be. That's easily the worst.
It's one thing that these two had a match, but they had one of the marquee feuds heading into a WrestleMania.
And then it didn't end.
It didn't end, and Jerry the King Lawler was supposed to get this big moment at WrestleMania. Oh, he finally got revenge on Michael Cole, only for them to say, no, Michael Cole wins because of the goddamn anonymous Raw GM.
Oh,
And,
no, that's the worst. That's the worst.
ooh, yeah, that's a good one, too. I didn't even think about that one.
Like, if it led to anything,
Ultimately,
literal anything, it would not be the worst. But it is. Because guess what it led to?
it led to Hornswoggle.
God. Damn it.
Jesus Christ.
And there were apparently plans to have it have been Triple H the whole time. Or
That
even
would've been
Mick
great.
Foley the whole time.
If they kept it for another year, because it ended in like 2012. No.
2010. No,
it ended in like mid 2011, I think.
Yes.
It was brought back a year later
For Raw 1000.
to reveal that it was Hornswoggle. If they kept it going until 2013, that could have played into Triple H turning heel perfectly. Ultimately, it led to Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler, because they took up 3 goddamn pay-per-view matches, including getting
country whooping match.
including getting nearly 15 minutes longer than the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 27.
Pathetic.
And then people wonder why it's one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. That's why! Oh, God. And, like, honestly, I'm sorry I keep going back to this, but the marquee matchups at WrestleMania, you have Cena Miz, Taker Triple H, and Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. Yeah. One of those 3 doesn't belong.
I purchased that pay-per-view.
As did I. We both suck equally. Oh my God. All right, let's move on. God damn it. I'm never going to stop laughing. All right. NXT. NXT TakeOver.
Best is probably New Orleans.
Okay, well, both of us have different ones then.
Yeah, I recently went back and rewatched it. Every match is incredible. Every single one. Like, you kick it off with that 6-man ladder match, which was insanity.
I remember that one, yeah.
You have the triple threat tag team match, which was a ton of fun, which includes one of my favorite comedy spots of all time, which was one of the authors of Pain gives Kyle O'Reilly a German suplex, and he just rolls through it like he's going to no-sell it, and he just, then falls back through the ropes.
I remember that too.
And then it had the big heel turn with Roddy joining the Era.
Yeah.
And, like, costing Pete Dunne and himself the tag titles.
Right. Yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah. And then you had the women's match, which was, like, beautiful storytelling. Like, Ember Moon takes out Shayna Baszler's arm, but she got the Kirifuda clutch on her, but she couldn't lift up her arm, so she grabbed her own hair for leverage.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And then what was the main event again?
Well, the title match was Almas and Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And then the main event was Gargano Ciampa Unsanctioned, which was brutal, but it was like the perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended with the perfect ending of Gargano grabbing Ciampa's brace and using it to hook in an STF. Ciampa taps. Gargano has his job back.
Mm-hmm.
Just beautiful.
Definitely a good choice. I went with more. I don't want to say old, but more like original NXT. I went with Brooklyn 1 in 20.
Ooh, Brooklyn one was really good.
It just because I think that, like, from an atmosphere standpoint, and I'm not saying that NXT doesn't put on good shows with a great atmosphere now,
Right.
but I think that the 2015 calendar year in NXT was when they were at their best. Again, I'm not saying that they're not good now,
Right.
but this was when I was incredibly invested in them. Like, I watched every single takeover. And I thought that when they moved takeover out of Full Sail, I think this was their first non-Full Sail takeover.
Yep.
Getting that Brooklyn crowd there, eating everything up with all of the matches, different storylines, everything like that. The whole Sasha Bailey match.
Ooh.
It was incredible to me.
The only ever WWE appearance of Jushin Thunder Liger.
That is true.
Wait, and his match with Tyler Breeze kicked ass.
It did. And then you had the ladder match at the end.
Yeah. With Jushin Thunder Liger, like, when I was watching Night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom this year, and his music hit, and I realized, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is the last time I'm seeing this.
I
teared up. Like, Jushin is such an important wrestler, not just in Japan, but like for the cruiserweight style in general.
Right.
But yeah, Takeover Brooklyn 1 was awesome.
Right. For worst, I mean, there haven't really been a lot of bad ones.
No, there haven't.
I'm gonna lean towards. I chose Fatal 4-Way just because it was kind of random.
Yeah, that one didn't really have much to it except that Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, some of the early 2014 takeovers didn't really stand out as much as, like, when you got to 2015, 2016. Like, yeah. Maybe it was because they were still at Full Sail. I don't know, but
I think it's because they didn't have the depth on their roster that they do now.
Right. You were relying on a lot of the same guys.
Yeah. But, like, you get to those main events.
Yeah.
Incredible. Every time. Like, the namesake, the Fatal 4-Way match. Oh.
Really good. Yeah.
Really good.
And I especially love the next takeover when Zayn and Neville had their one-on-one match.
Oh my god. I jumped when Sami won. I jumped out of my seat.
Yeah.
That was like me peak loving Sami Zayn.
Yeah, honestly, when Sami Zayn was still in NXT, it's when I loved him. It's afterwards, I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, so worst for me is Fatal 4-Way. Do you have a worst? Or was that it?
Probably say, wait, hold on. I need to look at something because I might actually have a different one.
Okay. I know, like, a lot of people say that the ones with, like, Bobby Roode as champion, Nakamura as champion, Joe as champion, were just kind of meh. I actually disagree. I liked those shows.
Yeah, so did I.
Just wait till we get to worst match. Worst match is pretty easy for me. Worst pay-per-view is pretty easy for me too, but we'll get to them soon. In the meantime,
actually, I think no, I'll go Fatal 4-Way because I was looking at the original takeover, but now I remember that show was kind of pretty good.
Yeah,
because it had Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
It had that Charlotte versus Natalya match.
Right.
The women's title. And then it had Neville versus Tyson Kidd.
That was back when they were doing some good things with Tyson Kidd. Unfortunately, he got hurt.
Dude, he was doing really good stuff in NXT.
Yeah,
And then they brought him up for that team with Cesaro, and I loved them together.
I did too. Alrighty. Let's go with the best pay-per-view.
Money in the Bank 2011.
I feel like that's kind of like the default choice, but
yeah,
understandably so, though.
If it's not that, it's Mania 30.
Mine is Mania 30.
I just thought top to bottom, Money in the Bank 2011 minus a match or two,
yeah,
was all really good.
Minus like the Divas match, like we can skip that.
Yeah, but other than that, everything's good.
Yeah.
Both Money in the Bank ladder matches are good. Hell, Mark Henry versus Big Show was cool.
Yeah. Honestly,
you had Big Show coming off the second rope.
Yeah. The matches they had with each other were not bad.
No, they weren't. And Christian and Orton.
Yeah.
Was awesome.
Yeah, I went with 30 just because you had the moment with Brian. The first half of the show, like the first 3 matches of the show.
Meh.
Wait, what?
Meh.
What do you mean meh?
Wait, what were the first 3 matches?
Well, you had Brian Triple H.
Oh, incredible.
And then you had The Shield versus the New Age Outlaws and Kane. The reason why I liked it, even though it was only like a minute and a half, it got the Shield a big WrestleMania win. Yeah. So
if I remember right, Billy Gunn had a big injury scare.
Oh, I didn't even remember.
I think he ended up coughing up blood in the back.
Oh Jesus. Okay. I didn't know that. But again, like the Shields get a big win. They look strong.
Yeah.
You know, especially just turning face. You kind of want to establish them as faces. Then you get the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the first one, and you get that big moment with Cesaro. I thought that was awesome. Unfortunately, it hasn't led to anything.
I penciled him in for like Mania main event the next year. Not even kidding.
No, I did too. Cena versus Wyatt from like a storyline perspective, the actual storytelling within the match,
perfect,
done really well. The finish, I hated it.
Because it was just the predictable finish.
Exactly.
And then you had the follow up. He's got the whole world.
Awful. Obviously, Taker versus Lesnar. Yes, the match was bad, but the streak ended at WrestleMania. So, yeah.
It's significant.
It's significant. And then, of course, I'm not even going to acknowledge the Divas match, but the main event, Brian having his big moment. Yeah.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
You know, I will acknowledge the Divas match for a second. The WWE, they can suck sometimes, but I felt so bad for them. Because they had to follow the streak ending at WrestleMania.
Poor AJ Lee. Poor all of them.
And it's a shame, too, because that match actually was not terrible. It wasn't long, but it wasn't terrible.
It was a giant cluster.
Yeah, it was a big cluster, but the action you got in it was actually pretty decent. It was solid. It wasn't great, but it was decent.
I loved AJ Lee. I think she was about 2-3 years too early.
Yeah.
She's in there in 2015 and 2016. Oh, she's killing it with Charlotte and Becky and Sasha and Bayley, and
especially with the promos.
Like
I don't even care about the matches at this point. Just give me the promo segments.
Oh my God! Imagine a heel Charlotte and a little plucky little babyface AJ Lee.
Yeah, or roles reversed. Maybe have like a heel AJ Lee and a face Becky Lynch.
Oh my God, that Give that to me all day.
But yeah, I felt bad for them. I felt really bad for them. It feels like just every year they manage to find a way to screw up the Divas match, and that was a big screw up. But now we get to matches. Best match.
Wait, did we do worst pay-per-view?
Did we? Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't. Sorry. Hold our horses here.
We're not counting the Saudi shows.
No.
We're not counting the glorified house shows.
No.
Jesus.
The Saudi shows would be too obvious.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Although one of the Saudi shows did produce the best moment in WWE history, which was Titus O'Neil.
Titus World Slide.
If there's any positive I can get from that, it's that.
Amazing.
Oh man. Other than that, screw them.
But God, there have been so many bad pay-per-views. Battleground 2013.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. Jeez.
Hell in a Cell 2013.
Good plucks in 2013. Like 2013 had a good Rumble, a good SummerSlam, but
like from Rumble to SummerSlam, 2013 was good.
Everything after SummerSlam,
awful.
Especially, oh god, Survivor Series was really bad that year.
I have not watched it.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Randy Orton and Big Show was the main event.
But Over the Limit 2012.
Stop.
The show was main evented by John Cena versus John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
When you had CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan on the same goddamn show, they produce a classic, one of the best WWE title matches of the decade. And it's not the main event.
Because we have to main event with John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. Yeah.
I think that takes the cake for worst pay-per-view of the decade.
I was gonna pick that, but man, SummerSlam 2010 just sucked so much more. Oh man, just start to finish.
You had Team WWE versus Nexus.
It sucks too because when people talk about SummerSlam 2010, that's literally all they talk about. The rest of the show sucked too. I mean, you had Cameron's favorite match of all time, Melina versus Alicia Fox. I don't even want to get into that. You had CM Punk, the Straight Edge Society versus Big Show in a 3-on-1 handicap match. And of course, Big Show's the one going over.
Oh, of course.
Of course. You had Kofi Kingston versus, I think it was Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler, which was a solid match. But then you decide to have the Nexus just completely wipe away the entire match. You have Randy Orton versus Sheamus. That's all you need. You had Rey Mysterio versus Kane for the World Heavyweight Championship. You had that abysmal, awful return of The Undertaker. That was probably the worst Taker return I've ever seen. And then I don't even want to get into the main event. That's a whole other video in itself. We're at 54 minutes and 12 seconds. I could spend 54 minutes, 13 seconds just talking about that match.
Ugh.
Bad.
So bad.
And just think, that started the decade, and somehow I'm still watching. Christ almighty. So you went Over the Limit 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either one. Where I could even say Over the Limit 2010.
I don't remember anything that happened on Over the Limit 2010.
Well, the only thing you need to remember is literally the entire roster got injured on that show.
Oh, yeah, that was the one where Randy popped out his shoulder doing the RKO thing.
Both Orton and Edge got hurt in the same match. Randy Orton got hurt taunting. Yeah. It was a bad...
And if I remember right, they were having a good match.
Yeah, it was a decent match up until Randy Orton decides to taunt, dislocates his shoulder. God damn it. That goes right up there with Psycho Sid breaking his leg.
And then another contender for the worst. Yeah, right after that, you had Fatal 4-Way.
Oh my god.
Let's just have like 3 Fatal 4-Way matches in one night. Make them feel so not special.
Fatal 4-Way. Thank God they never brought... Well, they technically brought it back, but at least they only had one Fatal 4-Way match.
Yeah. It was named after the main event.
Oh, God. I'm trying to think of some other bad ones. Hell in a Cell 2012 wasn't that good. I mean, you had Punk and Ryback, yeah.
Bad.
And then you decide to follow...
But you did have Sheamus and Big Show, which was so much better than it had any right to be.
Yeah. I just find it funny that like they had Punk Ryback, and they decide to follow up at Hell in a Cell 2013 with another Punk Ryback match.
Then, oh my god, you had those string of pay-per-views where it was like 4 or 5 in a row with Sheamus versus Del Rio.
Oh my god. And that was in 2012, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, Fastlane 2015. Fastlane 2017.
Fastlane, there was one redeeming thing from Fastlane 2015.
Or Roman and Bryan, I mean.
Yeah, that match was awesome.
Yeah. It's just a shame that, like, that match was really good, and yet it really did not need to happen at all.
Yeah. Fastlane 2017, the only thing I remember from that show is the Owens-Goldberg stuff.
That's all you need. Survivor Series 2015. That was right after Seth hurt his leg.
Oh, and then you realized how shallow that main event scene was.
Yeah.
And how much Seth was carrying that scene on his back.
Yeah. I mean, I that was where I got the reputation of not liking Kalisto. Because literally all I said was that Kalisto being in the world title tournament showed just how weak the roster was. I didn't mean to disrespect Kalisto when I said that. Contrary to what everyone else believes, I do not hate Kalisto. I just hated the WWE product at that time. God damn it. Rant over. Oh, man. God, I can't stop thinking about this now. You know what? Male wrestler of the decade, Kalisto.
Okay, slow your roll. He literally on an episode of SmackDown said, I'm gonna do lucha stuff. He forgot his promo.
Yeah.
And then was like, I'm gonna do a lucha thing.
Oh man, Kalisto.
He's really good in the ring.
He is. Yeah, on the mic, not so much.
Oh.
Oh god. Any other bad pay-per-views before we move on? I have another one, but go ahead.
No Way Out 2012.
Ooh, Wow. That also took place at the Izod Center in New Jersey.
I'm going to look up that card because I don't remember that card.
Well, the main event was Cena versus Big Show in a cage. I remember that.
Yes.
And I think, didn't Punk and Bryan have another match?
Let's see. Oh God. Your pre-show match. Brodus Clay versus David Otunga.
That's all you need to know.
Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight title.
I honestly forgot Ziggler had a shot during that time.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Santino Marella versus Ricardo Rodriguez in a tuxedo match.
Oh, man. That sounds like a 5-bagger for sure. Shout out to Bret Litke.
Christian versus Cody Rhodes.
Okay, that match sounds decent.
Fatal 4-Way for the number one contenders for the tag titles. Primetime Players. Back when they had AW.
Oh, God.
Versus Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd. Primo and Epico. And the Usos.
Okay.
Layla versus Beth Phoenix.
Oh, God.
And they put Layla over Beth Phoenix. That's insulting.
Yeah, that's bad. Bad. Just awful.
Sin Cara versus Hunico.
Jesus.
CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan and Kane for the WWE title.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they threw Kane in there because all three of them wanted to marry AJ Lee.
Yes. Ryback versus Dan Delaney and Rob Grimes.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Ryback. A handicap squash match co-main evented the show.
Yeah.
Because then you had John Cena with Vince McMahon in his corner versus Big Show with John Laurinaitis in his corner in a cage match.
I'm so glad I did not go to that show. My God. I'm glad that Extreme Rules 2014 was the last pay-per-view the Izod Center got. Because if it was No Way Out, that's a horrible way to go out.
Oh, yeah, that. Ugh.
Christ. It's Royal Rumble 2015.
Oh, God. Was there even anything good on that show?
The triple threat between Rollins, Cena, and Brock, but that was about it.
That was legitimately excellent.
Yeah, that was like WrestleMania main event worthy. It was so good.
And Brock broke his ribs.
He did.
Like Seth hit that elbow in it, and like I think the point of his elbow caught him straight here in the ribs.
Yeah. And then it's just unfortunate that great match is buried on a card that was bad. It was just
like, I remember that, and I remember Roman winning the Rumble. What else even happened?
I think there were a few tag matches, and I can't even remember who was in them. And then, of course, the Rumble match itself was just brutal.
Ugh.
And the ending was... I was fine with Roman winning. I knew it was going to happen one way or another.
But not that way.
But the ending was so bad.
Dude, when you have, the last 25, 30 minutes of it dominated
by Big Show and Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your final four is Rusev, who was out of the match for 20 minutes or whatever. Big Show, Kane, and Roman Reigns. And then you have, Big Show and Kane attack them, and then you had The Rock come out for whatever goddamn reason, and then you have everyone forgot, Rusev's still in the match. Roman has to eliminate him. They just did so many unnecessary things. Just have the guy win the match.
Yeah.
Why do we need to throw in the other stuff? I would have been perfectly fine with the final three being Roman, Rusev, and Dean Ambrose. Because at least with Rusev, the fact that you're putting him in the final three of the Rumble shows that you have big plans and big ideas for him. It shows that, he at least means enough to be in the final three.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Ambrose, it's a natural story. But instead, you decide to knock him out, eliminate him, and then have Roman look like freaking Superman. What a surprise. And then have The Rock come out when it was unnecessary. And then have Rusev be the last one eliminated. It was bad.
So bad.
Trying to think.
Was that Rumble worse or was 2014 worse?
I would say 2015 was worse. Because the match the 2014, unfortunately, the Rumble match itself was a really good match. But once number 30 came out, that's when it started to lose its steam. Other than that, it was a really good match.
Yeah,
I thought the 2015 Rumble match from start to finish was bad.
I don't understand why they thought they could get away with not putting Bryan in that Rumble match.
Honestly, if you were going to have him return, why put him in the Rumble match?
Yeah.
Have him come back the night after.
Seriously, 2014, there was no excuse to not have him in that match. There was legitimately no excuse.
I am going to make the counter argument that there was a good excuse for it. If you're the Authority, why would you want him in the Rumble match?
True.
I understand what you're saying, though.
But if you're going from that logic, make that a storyline.
Yeah.
Have them come out and be like, okay, you can have your match with Bray, but you're banned from the Rumble match.
Or even afterwards, Bray goes over Bryan,
what happened?
Wait, what?
What happened?
Yeah. And then have the Authority come out afterwards and be like, oh, this just proves you're a B+ player. Oh, and by the way, you're banned from the Rumble match. Boom.
There's your storyline.
Unfortunately, that would have turned the crowd against WWE the entire night, but at least it would have made sense.
It would have been the desired reaction.
Yeah. No, but we just spun off completely. And now we're going to get to the best and worst match.
Best WWE match.
I've got mine. It might surprise you.
Are we going to do NXT matches separate?
I was planning to do them all in one, but we could separate them.
I think that's the fairest thing to do.
Okay. In that case, I'm not going to answer for the NXT. Well, actually, I might. But go ahead.
Yeah. WWE, Cena Punk, Money in the Bank.
Okay.
I don't think you can match that atmosphere. I don't think you can match the perfect place, the perfect guy, the perfect time. Just everything came up for that match to be one of the most incredible things.
Mm-hmm.
And they just killed it. Everything they did was crisp, was smooth. There was no botches. Everything went well. The finish was good. Just both guys were on their A+ game.
Right. I actually went with another Cena match. Cena versus Styles from the Rumble.
Ooh.
I was hoping that, in a sadistic way, that Cena winning the belt would have led to Cena and Orton actually having a one-on-one Mania match, but in terms of the Cena Styles match, I thought that it was perfect. I thought that it had a perfect ending to the story. I thought that both men looked really good. They both brought out the best of each other. Cena was doing things that he never does. And even AJ was pulling out new things. And just the storytelling dynamic during the match was really good too. So, just all around, I think it was a 5-star perfect match. And I never say that, but
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, I loved that match too.
Mm-hmm. Best NXT match?
Ooh. Ciampa Gargano unsanctioned.
It's a good choice.
How about you?
This one's tough. Let me see. You know what? I might actually agree with you. I might go with that too. I liked that match.
Oh my god, like, and it wasn't just what they did, like they teased things that got you excited. Like,
Right.
you know that springboard DDT that Gargano does into the ring and occasionally does on the apron?
Yeah.
They teased him doing that from the ring to the outside on concrete.
Yeah. That is
Like,
all.
they sold that match beautifully as just them wanting to kill each other.
Right. Yeah, so many things worked about that match, and like it was another fitting ending.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, yeah, afterwards Ciampa had the advantage in the other two matches they had. But it was the character progression of Johnny being this obsessive character
mhm.
that ultimately every time led to his downfall.
Yeah, yeah. Gargano was made to look like the biggest babyface in the company,
Yeah.
and it worked.
And even their follow up at the next takeover in Chicago, which I have bias towards because I was there.
Yeah.
But my God, that match was brutal. Like, they exposed the wood in the ring for it,
Mm,
and Ciampa DDT'd him on it.
I remember that too.
The thud that made live. Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, it got to like we talk about like split reactions all the time, and like, oh, some people were booing, some people were cheering.
It was
All
50-50.
yeah,
Like, because people were like, wait, like everyone was so invested in Johnny, and then they were like, wait, he's becoming Ciampa to try and beat Ciampa.
yeah. Well, at first, like it didn't start that way. At first, it was like 100% Johnny, and
Yeah,
then everyone was booing Ciampa.
yeah. And then it like as Johnny kind of gave in to the darkness,
Yeah,
like the fans were hooked and they were starting to boo.
mm-hmm.
Like, just that's one of the best feuds the company has ever done.
I agree. Worst match. It kind of goes along with my theme for storyline, but go ahead.
Oh, ooh. It's got to be Cole Lawler.
That's mine too.
It has to be Cole Lawler.
Any of the 3 matches they had,
Yeah.
but specifically the Mania match.
But there are some doozy of bad ones too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, everywhere. Um
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it, 2015 Rumble. Already talked about that.
The
Oh,
40-man Rumble.
oh God, when you had like half the freaking competitors in the match were jobbers.
Right?
Oh man, it was terrible.
Um,
Trying to think of like Bret versus Vince. Oh
mhm.
God. Oh my God. No.
Um,
Punk versus Ryback, either of the 700 times. Oh man. Trying to think of I'm sure there have been bad Cena. Roman Ambrose, yeah.
At Survivor Series.
Because it only lasted 9 minutes and it wasn't that good.
Right.
Cena versus John Laurinaitis.
Oh god, that's awful. That was awful.
Oh god, the freaking Divas tag match at WrestleMania 28. Maria Menounos and Kelly
Yes.
versus Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres, when it took Maria Menounos half of the match time to climb up to the top rope.
The Punjabi prison match with Mahal and Orton.
No.
Even though you can kind of disqualify that for the one bump the one Singh brother took.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sick.
He did it for The Rock. I'm just kidding.
Either of the matches that Mahal had with Nakamura.
Oh my god. I could argue any of the matches Mahal had as champion. His matches against Orton were just bad.
It's ironic because the best stuff he did as champion was when he lost it.
Yeah.
And the match after.
Oh man, there's gotta be more.
The stairs match.
Oh man, weren't there multiple? Or there's only one? Yeah, Big Show, Eric Rowan.
In a stairs match.
Oh man. Okay, you might disagree with me. Actually, you probably will disagree with me. Brock Ambrose in the street fight.
That could have been so much more.
Yeah.
I liked it at the time. But I don't put it as one of the worst.
Okay. That's fair. Do I want to put Rock Cena 2 up there? Because it really just became a finisher fest.
Yeah, but I think there was so many things worse.
Oh, God. Cena Orton at Rumble 2014.
Stop.
When literally the entire match just consisted of stealing each other's finishing moves.
Yeah. Awful.
And the crowd was chanting for refunds and Daniel Bryan.
And everything.
And everything except the two guys in the match.
Yeah.
Hell, on that same card, Big Show versus Brock, that lasted 1 minute.
At least it didn't last long, and Brock just murdered him with a chair.
Yeah, at least Brock wound up looking really strong in it.
Yeah.
God. Maybe Brock Roman too.
It was bad, but I don't think it was worst of the decade bad.
Okay. I'm struggling.
Rock Eric Rowan.
6 seconds, yay!
And that's The Rock's farewell match.
Yeah. You think he'll have another match?
What?
Do you think he'll have another match?
Probably.
I think he'll have one more big time match. I was honestly.
I think if he's going to do it, it's going to be against Roman.
Okay.
And it's going to be at a Mania.
See, my theory was if he was going to do it, he'd have to do it in Florida. Well, this year's WrestleMania is in Florida. But
I think the only one other than Roman he would do is Brock, and it would have to be for the title, and I don't think Rock would want to commit.
No,
I don't think he could.
And it would just, with two part-timers, they don't appear on TV every week. if they don't appear together, then it's not going to help the storyline. So,
Right.
I think you can do like a Brock match at a SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Even if the title's not involved. But
speaking of SummerSlam, like I know this is super off topic. It's in Boston. Does Cena have his farewell match this year?
I think that if Cena were to do a farewell match, it'd have to be at WrestleMania.
Or do you think Cena hit 17?
I could see Cena getting 17.
Do you think he'll get it at SummerSlam?
It's a good chance.
His hometown?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. I honestly forgot SummerSlam was in Boston. I didn't realize that Toronto was a one-year thing.
Yep.
God,
other bad matches.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh God, you'd have to. There's a list of matches from Raw.
Oh God, yeah. I don't even want to talk about that. I'm trying to think of like 20. We've been kind of avoiding 2016. I'm trying to think of any from 2016.
2016 had a lot of good matches,
but it also had a lot of bad ones. Like I named Brock Ambrose.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of random and in the grand scheme of things kind of pointless, and it was just long and dragged on for way too damn long. Maybe Shane Taker in Hell in a Cell. But at least
it had the moment.
You had the moment at the end, but that was it.
Yeah.
And that match just kept going and going and going and going. It lasted over a half hour. Oh, man. Yeah, that's about all I can think of. I'm sure there's more.
All right.
That'll bring us to the last two awards. We're going to start with the worst. Worst female wrestler of the decade.
Alicia Fox.
Bingo. There's mine too.
She's been with the company for
12 years.
Yeah.
And has had one month long, if that, Divas title reign.
Yep.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
A close second for me was Tamina, but in fairness to Tamina, she was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the WWE would have done more with her, but it seems like every time they were going to try to do something with her, she was injured.
Right.
Alicia Fox was consistently on the roster and consistently terrible on the roster.
Just awful.
Yeah. And not even going to get into her outside problems that she has.
With that, I just hope she gets the help she needs.
I do as well. And now best female wrestler.
Oh, it's either Becky or Charlotte.
I'm going to go with Charlotte.
I'm going to go with Becky.
Okay.
I think, especially within the last year, Becky's the most over person on the roster.
Yeah.
And even going back, like, she's been consistently great since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember there was, I think it was a takeover match where she was facing Sasha when Sasha was NXT Women's Champion. And they put on a hell of a match, and Becky just came up a little short. And the crowd was singing her theme song back at her, and she just started crying.
Yeah, I remember that too. I just look at Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
just consistently featured like she matters every single week ever since she started.
And she consistently delivers.
She
in
consistently
every aspect.
Very decent, good matches. Main evented WrestleMania. I know Becky did too, but
she's an incredible promo.
Mm-hmm. Can work as a face, can work as a heel. Like, she's very versatile.
Super athletic.
Absolutely. The
corkscrew moonsaults she does.
Yeah.
Even her regular moonsaults are just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been a part of so many significant things. The first ever female Hell in a Cell match. Which, funny story, her and Sasha apparently tried to campaign to Vince and everyone else to let her, meaning Charlotte, do a moonsault off the top of Hell in a Cell.
If I were Vince McMahon, I would have fired her on the spot.
I just imagine that visual. I mean, yeah, the issue of you're probably going to over-rotate and hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're probably going to die. Let's not do that.
Because, it's one thing to take it from the depth of inside the ring to outside the ring, which that's a significantly further drop.
Yeah.
But to do it from the top of Hell in a Cell, you'd have to physically slow yourself down to such a slow pace to not over-rotate and land on the back of your head.
Exactly. It was, that was never... I would have advocated for them going to the top of the cell, but not Charlotte jumping off of it.
Especially with a flip maneuver.
Oh, God, no. Just no. I don't even want to think about that. Because all I see is just here's her head. Whoop! Oh, God. And then, oh my God, Charlotte's career is over. And Sasha's probably too. So
yeah.
And then...
but yeah, the Hell in a Cell match. The TLC match.
Yeah. Was she in the first Money in the Bank match?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She wasn't in the first Rumble match.
No, she wasn't because she was champ.
Yeah, and she wasn't in the first Rumble match either because she was champ too.
Yeah.
But first women's main event of WrestleMania.
She was there.
First women's, what else? First women's straight up ladder match instead of a TLC. Was she in that or no?
I don't remember.
Wasn't she in Elimination Chamber?
Yes.
Okay, first women's Elimination Chamber.
No, I don't think she...
I'm looking it up.
Was she... Because I think that was a Raw thing. Or was it...
I'm looking up Elimination Chamber 2018.
Because...
I
know Alexa won it.
Okay, Alexa was not in it. Or Charlotte was not in it. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I know it was Alexa, Sasha, Bayley,
Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. And then Asuka was in a match against Nia Jax. Had Nia Jax won, she would have been added to whatever the chosen WrestleMania women's title match would have been.
Right. And was Charlotte even on that card?
No, actually. No, she was not. There were only 5 matches on the card because, with Elimination Chamber, you can't really have a lot of matches.
Right, because the chamber matches are going to go long.
Yeah, the women's chamber match lasted just about a half hour, and then the men's chamber match lasted 40 minutes.
Where Braun Strowman eliminated everyone except Roman Reigns.
Correct. Including John Cena. Yeah.
Which, second year in a row, a Wyatt family member had eliminated Cena.
True.
Because in 2017, Bray Wyatt, with the best they'd ever treated him before being the Fiend, eliminated consecutively John Cena and AJ Styles.
Yes.
And then I think he beat them in consecutive weeks on TV to retain the title.
You might be right. I don't remember that.
And everyone was like, oh God, they've finally pulled the trigger.
And now, We've reached the end. Best and worst male wrestler.
Worst?
I'm gonna be honest. I have not picked a worst yet. I had all of my picks written down except that one.
Like, so many of the ones I'd put at the worst, it's like, okay, they had a year of being really, really egregiously bad.
Yeah.
But then they were nothing.
Like, I would put Jinder Mahal up there.
Right. Jinder Mahal's up there.
Because they had multiple chances, or excuse me, he had multiple chances to prove that he was worth anything in the company.
And he failed.
And he failed miserably.
You could say Bray Wyatt, but a lot of what made him not great was out of his control. A lot of it was the booking.
Yeah.
He usually did the best with what they gave him.
I would put him in like the most misused category.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if I'd put him worst, but he was definitely the most most misused.
Yeah.
Oh man, worst.
James Ellsworth.
Oh my god. You know what? Enzo Amore.
There's mine.
There's yours? Wow.
Enzo.
You know what? I'll make
Enzo.
mine Jinder.
Yeah.
Just to, go
like, you can say Enzo was entertaining on the mic and all that. Yeah, sure. He was the drizzling shits.
Yeah, he was. And like his promos, while they were funny, they were kind of stupid.
And repetitive.
Yeah, like there's a difference between trying to be entertaining and just being stupid.
Yeah.
Best.
Oh,
mine might surprise you, and mine might surprise whoever watches this.
Daniel Bryan's up there.
Yep.
Punk's up there. I'd say Rollins is up there.
You still haven't guessed mine yet. It's funny because usually I tend to gravitate towards the top guys. Like if it's whether it's I'm not gonna say Cena and Roman were my favorites, but I could argue that they're the best because they're the top guys. They're the ones that draw in the money. They're the ones that draw in the ratings.
Yeah.
But
oh my god.
You want me to just start with mine?
Yeah.
I went with The Miz.
Oh.
Because from start to finish, The Miz, as a heel, from 2010 to 2019, whenever he was heel, was easily the best heel on the roster. He easily was the only guy, or one of the only guys, that was consistently able to do his job correctly. People actually hated him as a heel, and he put on some really damn good matches. Consistently. Also a guy that was never really injured. I don't remember him ever taking off with an injury. He was also somebody who can work well with anybody, who can turn something that's bad into something that's good. He brings out the best in several baby faces. See Daniel Bryan. Dolph Ziggler. Kofi Kingston.
I think, though I see where you're coming from, I think I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan.
That's another good pick. I'm not disputing that at all.
Like,
he was probably my second choice.
Everything he does seemingly is at least good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure he's had a bad match this decade.
I'm pretty sure there have been like some mediocre ones, but I can't think of a bad one.
Like, they're all okay at best,
Mhm.
or at worst. Like, hell, he got okay matches out of Big Cass.
Yeah, true.
Like, they didn't blow the world away. They weren't really good, but they were at least okay.
Yeah, Brian brought good out of most people.
And then you have the top tier ones. You have, to start off the decade, remember his 3 nights in a row with, or his 3 shows in a row with Dolph in 2010?
Yeah.
They killed it.
They killed even that Night of Champions match with The Miz where he won the US title.
Yeah. And like all the way through the Team Hell No stuff, and even before that, his heel run with the world title.
Mm-hmm.
And just everything he's done has gotten people invested.
Absolutely.
And like even this year, some people may not like it, but I thought his heel run was fantastic.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I think that Brian, like going back to my favorite storyline being Kofi Kingston, I think that Brian was the perfect choice to oppose him.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, 5 short years earlier, Brian was in the exact same spot. He was the one being held back. He was the one being held down. He was the one being buried. And now he's here, and he's the one doing the burying.
Yeah. And
it worked so well with Brian. I don't think it would have worked with anyone else except Daniel Bryan.
Of course. And like when you're a part of the 2 biggest reactions of the decade, with him winning it at Mania 30 and Kofi winning it at Mania 35 over him.
Yeah.
There's a pattern.
And he's also very he reminds me a lot of Mick Foley. Like, he doesn't mind working with different people. He doesn't mind putting people over. You know,
Yeah.
he seems like a very genuine, he seems like he actually wants to work with people.
He put over Ali in 2019.
Yeah.
I
mean, hell, he put over Big Cass, or did he? I forgot. Oh, no, he didn't.
No.
Never mind.
He put over Owens when Owens first came back.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that was huge for getting Kevin the momentum he's arguably still carrying.
Yeah. He could have been another choice too, but he did spend like the first half of the decade out of WWE. So
yeah, if you were combining the 2, I could argue for Kevin being the wrestler of the decade.
Yeah,
with just how significant the stuff he did in ROH was.
Right.
Like that when he was in Scum.
Yeah,
that was the best stuff ROH has ever done.
Mm-hmm. But and like going back to Brian for a second, he definitely could have been my number 1, not even because of what he did, but just because of the change in my perspective of him. Like, it's not that I didn't like him, it's that I just was convinced that WWE would have no earthly idea what to do with him.
Yeah. Like, when the decade began, everyone was like, Jesus, he's in WWE. What are they going to do with him?
Yeah. And then the first couple years were just pretty meh.
Yeah, because they didn't know what to do with him. He wasn't their style.
It's like, you know, he won some titles. Like, he won the US belt, and it was just kind of meh. You know, he won Money in the Bank after losing several matches, and then he wins Money in the Bank, and then loses more matches, and then cashes in, and it's like, oh, he's the world champion, but
And then he loses in 18 seconds.
And then he loses in 18 seconds to WrestleMania, or at WrestleMania, excuse me. He lost to WrestleMania.
Yes. WrestleMania, the event itself, pinned Daniel Bryan.
Boom. But then after that, just seeing the change in him, like he's going from somebody who they don't know what to do with him to this guy's the most entertaining guy in the roster.
Yeah. Like, Team Hell No was
excellent.
Oh my God.
Off the charts. It was
I am the tag team champions.
Honestly, and it was obviously great comedic relief.
You could tell how much fun the both of them were having.
Yeah, and a lot of people point to, Daniel Bryan being perfect for the role, but Kane was perfect for that role too. Kane,
and who would have thunk?
Yeah,
that Kane would have had that much comedic timing, would have been that entertaining in 2012 and 2013.
Yep.
And then I think what made it work the best is how good they were as a tag team.
They were really good as a tag team, and their segments were hilarious. They were great. And then as a tag team, they just meshed well together. They had great chemistry.
And apparently they're really good friends outside the ring.
Yeah.
And I think Kane did an interview where he said, even though they're like polar opposites politically, they can sit down and have intelligent political conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just really good friends.
That I've heard a lot about not just with each other, but Daniel Bryan and Kane apparently are like the two of the nicest guys you'll meet in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Like, I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about either one of them.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, both good choices, though. Both Miz and Bryan.
Yeah, Miz was probably the most underappreciated guy of the decade.
I agree. Like, people forget, like, even though it wasn't that great, he main evented at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, not many people can say that. Especially this decade.
Yeah.
Because there's been a pretty big theme of who's in the main event of WrestleMania this decade. Yeah.
John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar.
Pretty much. And then you sprinkle in Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker to kick off the decade.
And Rollins was in it twice.
Rollins, yes. But that's it. This concludes the best/worst of the decade awards here on Unlimited. Thank you, Walter, for joining as always.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for whoever watches this video. This will get posted. This is actually being recorded Wednesday night/Thursday morning. This is going to be posted Friday. The Q&A is going to go up Thursday. So,
right.
But thank you all. Here's to a good 2020, where hopefully we're more active on this channel. We grow this channel. I'm Matt from Unlimited. See you later.